story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Well, thank you for joining us again. I am Nifemi Oguntoye with the CoreTV News this hour. Minister of Finance Ogozio Konjo-Iweala's audit report on the $10.8 billion allegedly missing from the coffers of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation will be ready in November. Okonjo-Iweala, who's also the coordinating minister of the economy, spoke at the Financial Times Africa Summit 2014 in London on Monday. She said there had been ongoing discussions between the Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Petroleum Resources on the matter, adding that the huge attention generated by the unaccounted fund necessitated the government to take steps leading to the appointment of PricewaterhouseCoopers to do a forensic audit. The minister said initially it was $48 billion, then $20 billion, but the true figure, she added, is $10.8 billion. On Ebola, the minister said Nigeria needs to be commended for the effort it made at ensuring the index case did not take the illness out of the country and also for containing it. Now, there are strong indications that Nigerian troops have overrun Michika and Gulag in Madagali local government area of Adamawa state. The areas had in the past 1 month been in the hands of the dreaded Boko Haram insurgents. CoreTV News learned that the military are at the moment comfortably controlling Michika, which the insurgents seized on September 2014. However, sources hinted that despite the military bombardment, the insurgents on Sunday night regrouped at the Government Technical College Michika with the intention of attacking the soldiers before they were dislodged and chased away. Report indicates that about 200 Boko Haram insurgents have been killed in the latest offensive as Nigerian troops take control of the towns, gaining upper hand in the ongoing war. It added that the insurgents who were in their thousands came through Uba and attacked the Nigerian troops who had already advanced into Michika, but were repelled immediately. Meanwhile, the Adamawa State Acting Governor Amadu Umaru Fintiri has commended the efforts of Nigerian soldiers to liberate the 2 local government areas initially under the grip of the militants. Reports from South Africa shows that Nigeria's National Security Advisor Sambo Dasuki personally signed off the end-user certificate for the recent arms deals involving $9.3 million seized in that country. A South African newspaper, City Press, on Monday reported that it has documents in its possession reflecting that it was the NSA that approved the transaction. It added that the deal, which the Nigerian government had said was legal, was for the purchase of items ranging from helicopters to unmanned aircraft or drones. Meanwhile, South African officials have seized another $5.7 million for yet another arms deal involving Nigeria. This is the second multi-million-dollar arms deal between the 2 countries in the past month that has resulted in money being frozen in South African banks. The latest transaction is between Cerberus Risk Solutions, an arms broker in Cape Town, and Societe d'Equipment Internationales, said to be a Nigerian company based in Abuja. The deal fell apart after the South African outfit, which had earlier received 1 billion naira in its account at Standard Bank, tried to repay the money as it could not resolve its registration formalities with the South African authorities. This was because its registration as well as marketing and contracting permits expired in May this year. The money was seized after the bank became suspicious when the company tried to pay back the money. The South African authorities, however, say there are no indications that this transaction is related to the previous one, even though both are still being investigated. As the Adamawa governorship by-election approaches, the resident electoral commissioner in the state, Kasim Gaidam, says the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is ready to conduct a free, fair and acceptable election. Speaking in an exclusive interview with CoreTV News, Gaidam assures residents that all that is needed for the election has already been provided.
Materials are 100% on ground. Materials, the non-sensitive and sensitive materials are already on ground here in Yola. And the non-sensitive materials have been distributed to all the 21 local government areas. We have done staff engagement. We have completed training for the 21 local government areas. Funding for their training, logistic, and their honoraria for the election is 100% with us. We have been holding stakeholder meetings with the political parties, security agencies, civil society organizations.
Explains that both INEC staff in other states and ADAC staff will be used to prosecute the election.
That we expect to use over 13,000 ad hoc staff, and we only have about 300 INEC staff here in Adamawa State. So you can see from that we are, it's not really a completely INEC affair, it's everybody's affair. That is one. Two, we also expect support teams from our neighboring states. Our colleagues from as far as River State are coming to Adamawa State for this election. And I'm expecting not less than 21 commissioners to come and give us support. The commissioner will be in charge of the local government, either national commissioner or electoral commissioner, will man the local government, the 12 local governments of the states. And we also expect about 250 electoral officers to come here and man our registration area centers. So actually, politicians should concentrate on identifying very, very good agents and go on campaign based on issues. There's no room for catching corners. So they should really go and canvass for what's from people to ensure that they elect them, because they're going to be very free to select their people. No room for undue influence, no room for rigging, no room for interference.
Gaidam insisted that only those with permanent voters card will be allowed to vote in the governorship by-election.
Only those who have collected a permanent voters card are going to vote. And for the Adamawa North, we have 366,518 voters that are going to use the temporary voters card. We have tidied their register. And the total register that we have tidied for the whole state is 1.5 million. 1,529,636 voters are going to vote for the election. All things being.
Determined from the success of Nigeria at containing the Ebola virus disease and the brickbats between the APC and the PDP over who takes the glory, former Vice President and APC presidential aspirant Atiku Abubakar dismissed any claim to success by the federal government in the health sector. The former Vice President says states under the control of APC have delivered better in the healthcare sector than their PDP counterparts. Atiku made this assertion while commissioning the new General Hospital in Ado-Ekiti, the Ekiti state capital. Rashid completes the report.
Commissioning the new Obadeji General Hospital in Ado-Ekiti as part of the 4th year anniversary of Kayode Fayeme's government, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar says the federal government should play an advisory role in sectors like health and make states more active in the provision of healthcare to Nigerians.
The federal government is too powerful. Our federal government has taken in so much responsibilities. And some of these responsibilities can best be handled by states. One of the sectors that I have always thought the federal government has no business in dealing with is the health sector, other than maybe research, development, and regulatory framework.
Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi says the new hospital being commissioned is in response to the yearnings of the need of Ekiti people and show of the government's commitment to their well-being, which he says is the primary responsibility of government.
With this edifice, as well as 18 general hospitals around our 16 local governments that have been commissioned also in the course of this 4th anniversary, to let our people know that we are committed to their well-being. We're committed to good health. We're committed to ensuring low maternal mortality, low child mortality, increased life expectancy, committed and virile people in our state.
Atiku Abubakar, a presidential hopeful under the APC, never left without a dig at the PDP, while also canvassing for votes ahead of the 2015 general elections, with the venue of the commissioning turned to a mini campaign for the Turaki Adamawa.
When you watch your television sets, you can see the difference between us. The television sets are full of transformation propaganda. And when you go to the ground, you find that the progressive states actually are having development on the ground. So there is a choice before Nigerians. That is a choice between the so-called transformers and then the progressives.
As outgoing Governor Kayode Fayemi continues to commission projects, there is no doubt that the echoes of the June 21st battle will start coming up again as 2015 general elections draw near, particularly as the state is preparing to usher in a new administration in a few days. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
You're watching CoreTV News live from Lagos. I'll be back with more stories shortly after this timeout. Don't go away.
There is an Ebola virus epidemic in some West African countries. The Nigerian government wants you to be aware and watch out against the spread of Ebola in your community. Help keep our country safe and watch out for severe cases of fever, headaches, diarrhea, chest and abdominal pain, sore throat, cough, red eyes and bleeding from the eyes, ears and nose, especially when these symptoms are found in persons coming into Nigeria from other West African countries. Protect yourself. Wash your hands regularly with soap and running water or use a hand sanitizer. Avoid contact with the blood, urine, feces or saliva of animals like bats, monkeys, gorillas, chimpanzees or infected persons. The Ebola virus is deadly. Don't catch it. Don't spread it. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
Thanks for joining us again. The deplorable state of roads at the Riverview Estate has been a major source of worry for residents, workers and owners of businesses in the Isheri North Ifo local government area of the state of Ogun State. Emmanuel Ajayi's report is presented from our studios.
These residents and workers at Isheri North Ifo local government area of Ogun State said the poor state of roads within their environs has crippled many businesses and also made life difficult.
If we carry 200 blocks from our side, before we go to the main road, we have damages of 20 or 30 blocks.
Can't even wash the car. When we wash the car, few minutes just to drive outside, the car will be very dirty.
Also speaking on our flagship program called Digest, Chairman Landlords and Residents Association Riverview Estate, Akinde Abayomi says the bad state of the roads within Isheri North, especially Riverview Estate, is a major source of stress for residents and other visitors.
We took it upon ourselves to maintain the road filled with laterite, sometimes with stones, and we've been doing that over the years. But with the advent of rainy season, things got seriously bad. As we speak now, in fact, some parts of this road are so bad that small cars cannot even pass through. You need a jeep in order to move, on that road as we speak now.
He, however, says efforts made to put the road in good condition so far has not yielded any results.
This area, we have a peculiar problem because of the terrain, because of the soil nature here. We don't have good water. As an individual, you cannot sink a successful borehole here. Now, we wrote to the governor about this. He minuted the letter to the general manager, Ogun State Water Corporation. We've been following up. In fact, we said we are going to contribute for them to know, because they were saying, are we going to pay? We're not going to see it as a social service that we are not going to pay for. I said, we are willing to pay. We are going to pay. And to demonstrate our commitment, we task ourselves. We raised over 5 million naira as counterpart funding, so to say. You know, for them to know that we are going to pay. Take this money. We have the money in the account. That we are not looking for free service. We just want the Ogun State Water Corporation, the government, through the Ogun State Water Corporation, to provide us water, no roads. Everything is in complete shambles.
He called on the Ogun State government to do more in putting infrastructure in place, devoid of any consideration.
Well, it's an obvious fact that Nigerians across the country travel more during festive period. So it is in Osun as the Eid festival witnessed several journeys within the state. The problem this time around is the deplorable state of roads in local communities in the state. Holidaymakers who chose to visit their relatives and have to use the road linking Osogbo to Ilobu as well as Ogbomoso are finding it difficult to navigate the popular Ojutu Bridge. Rashid reports the nightmare encountered by motorists and travelers on the Link Bridge.
That is the result of an anomaly of a 10-minute journey from Osogbo to Ilobu, turning into a 45-minute nightmare. No thanks to the bad state of the Osogbo-Ilobu-Ogbomoso road. With festive activities still in the air, there is more vehicular movement on the Osogbo-Ilobu-Ogbomoso road. The popular Ojutu Bridge, a one-carriage bridge, has now made traveling on the road a frustrating experience for commuters as they have to wait for longer than necessary to navigate through, and when tempers flare, commuters may have to wait longer. The intervention of voluntary organizations like the Man O' War and Vigilante Group has gone a long way in helping to regulate movement on the bridge.
There is a lot of traffic jams. So we're supposed to assist people who are traveling from Osogbo to Ogbomoso and Lawrence. I thank God that there's no problem. Area cool and calm. Everything is good and well.
And when the commuters get green light for passage, the bridge becomes so congested and looks like one ready to collapse at any time. Commercial drivers and commuters who make use of the road daily lament its present state while calling for urgent repairs, especially the construction of a new dual carriage bridge.
The road is in fact, let me say, is condemned now. So even self, if I no drive well, so we condemn their motors. So we are driving small. This road is over 30 years to renew the road. So I need another bridge. So please try to help us to do another bridge.
Though the road has been designated as federal road, but this does not matter to teeming Nigerians using the road, as they hope that a government, either the state or federal, would come to their aid and make traveling on the road an experience to look forward to. Rashid, CoreTV News.
And back in Lagos, the hustle and bustle associated with the Nigeria's commercial hub was near absence during the Eid-ul-Kabir holiday on Monday. Residents in the state largely chose to mark the day in a more reserved manner. Fun spots visited by a crew in Lagos failed to record a large turnout of visitors noticed over the weekend. Amatayo Alo has more in this report.
This busy express road is unusually very free today with low human and vehicular movement. The first point of call was the under-busy Kano Park in Ikeja, which had few people in attendance, but the Ibrahim family could not help but thank God for another year of celebration with a show of excitement.
I come from Senegal and I live at Songo-Ota, and I come to come and play with the children, and I come for swimming, and I come for dancing, and I come for playing.
I come to play
to catch my phone because of the holiday.
Everything we thank God. We dey like everybody. We know there for hospital. We thank God. If you will not have money, but as we wear like this, we are free. We not there for prison. We there for free. We dey work out by ourselves. We thank God. That's big thank God.
Full of excitement in our SUV, the young lady, who simply identified herself as Joy, had few words for CoreTV crew.
Yes.
You want to come next time?
Yes, I want to come.
You want to come next time again?
Yes.
Busola Adekunle also expressed the gratitude to God for his mercy.
Glory be to God for another celebration, and we look forward to another one next year.
As the holidays gradually wrap up, the vision of many Nigerians is to continue to have a reason to rejoice and celebrate, whether it is for festivities or not. Omotayo Alo, CoreTV News, Lagos.
We'll take another break and I'll be back with stories outside Nigeria and a bit of sports. Stick around. This is Judiciary Today.
The judiciary's function is to interpret the law. The judge in Lagos State is perhaps one of the most comfortable judges in the world.
You don't say because we are fighting terrorists or we're fighting terror, then you go about violating people's rights. We're not going to allow that in this country.
I think that's one of the reasons why some
that's what lawyers do.
I didn't say that what lawyers do.
The TV show that brings you in-depth review and analysis of judiciary issues that affect you.
All police officers to welcome victims with empathy and not say, what were you wearing? Where did you go? What were you doing at 10 p.m. at night?
As the Nigerian judiciary mourns one of their own.
He has gone to court on behalf of Nigerian citizens even without taking a cover.
It is time for lawyers to take their health very seriously, lawyers and judges.
Only on CoreTV. Thanks for joining us again. Islamic State militants are reported to have entered the key Syria-Turkey border town of Kobane and are engaged in street-to-street fighting with Syrian Kurd defenders. ISIS fighters entered eastern districts, raising the black flag on buildings and high ground. Hundreds of civilians are reported to be fleeing to the Turkish border, taking Kobane, besieged for 3 weeks, and would give ISIS control of a long stretch of the Syrian-Turkish border. More than 160,000 Syrians, mainly Kurds, have fled the town. The UK-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, which monitors the Syrian conflict, said Islamic State fighters had penetrated about 100 meters into Kobane. It reported urban guerrilla warfare has started and the fighting has taken place for the first time in districts at the eastern entrance in Maktala, Al-Jadida, and Kani Arabin. The seriousness of Super Eagles' double-header against Sudan has been underlined by the promptness of players' arrival to the team's camp at the Bolton White Apartment in Abuja, the federal capital. As at 3 p.m. on Monday, at least 10 players have arrived at the team's camp, with training expected to commence on Tuesday earlier this morning at the training pitch of the Abuja National Stadium. All other players invited for the game are expected before dinner time today. Among the early arrivals are Omasoni Aluke of Hull City, Hope Akpan, Babatunde Michael, Midfield Jam, Lusari Gebo, Aaron Samuel, Bolahon Salami of Warri Wolves, Azubuike Goekwe, Edward, Chigoze Agbem, and leading Nigerian League scorer Igodalo Osaguna. And that wraps it on CoreTV News this hour. Join us again at the top of the hour for more stories. I am Nifemi Okuntoye. Thanks for being there.